Good morning and welcome, students. Now in the previous class you know that we were studying this chapter A Day in the Country by Anton Chekhov. Half of the chapter we had already finished and half of the chapter is still left, and that we are going to do it today. Now this story, you know that it was of two little children, Fyokla and Danilka. These two were brother and sisters, and they were orphan kids. Orphan children are the kids, those who don't have parents. Even 20, when he was very young, he was also an orphan. So this man actually he understands what happens to the orphan kids, how much they have to suffer in life, what all things people do to them, and how insecure they feel in the world when they are there. So that is why 20 is very helpful, a very kind man, and these kids actually rely on 20 for each and everything. So once when Danilka got stuck his hand in one of the trees, the little girl Fyokla, she runs through the thicket, and all the way she keeps on asking the people here and there about 20, but there was no answer. Ultimately, sacristan he tells about 20 that he was working in some kitchen garden and he was busy, preoccupied, as it was about to rain. So the little girl, she was very scared, and why she was scared? Because the weather was very bad and it was about to rain. Danilka was already there in one of the biggest problem. So she was very scared and she is running for 20. Then 20 comes to the forest with Fyokla and he rescues Danilka. And then these three they are wandering through the forest, and this boy actually he is very inquisitive. Inquisitive means very eager to know things about, and that is why when they are walking, this boy is asking each and every question to this man. So let's begin with page number 42. Now actually the boy he asked Fyokla that do you want to see a nightingale's nest? And then as he was about to touch the nest, he was warned by 20. Don't touch it, you might disturb them, says 20. The nightingale is a singing bird without sin. It has had a voice given him in his throat to praise God and gladden the heart of man. Gladden the heart of man means making it happy. Gladden the heart of man. We can mark the difficult words. Gladden means making happy. A bright patch of blue appears in the sky, means suddenly the dark clouds they just shift and a blue patch is seen there. Look, says 20, an ant heap burst into by rain. They've been flooded. Now because of the rain there was a heap of ants, and the ants were moving here and there. They bend over the ant heap. The downpour means with sudden gush of rain water, has damaged it. The insects are scurrying to and fro. Scurrying means moving very fast, moving to and fro, scurrying. It is fast movement, scurrying to and fro in the mud, agitated and busily trying to carry away their drowned companions. So these ants they were trying to help each other, and the drowned companions were also being carried to a safer place. That won't happen to you, says 20, grinning. As soon as the sun warms you, so he is warning the kids that don't worry. As soon as the sun will come, these ants they'll be fine and they'll become dry. They go on, and here are some bees, cries Danilka. So suddenly he sees some bees also, and then he's asking about the bees also. Danilka pointed to the branch of a young oak tree. The drenched and chilled bees are huddled together on the branch. There are so many of them that neither bark is the stem of the tree or nor leaf can be seen. Obviously, when these bees they suddenly when these bees are there together, you can't see the branch or the leaf wherever they get together. That's a swarm of bees. See, swarm of bees, collective noun. No? 20 informs them they were flying looking for a home, and when the rain came down upon them, they settled. So, what happened actually, these bees, when they fly, and suddenly, if some drops come on them, they shift to one place, and then you cannot see them flying. And if you want to catch these bees, or if you want to take out the honey, what at that time you can take a sack, and if you just put it inside, they'll fall inside only. They won't bite you here and there. So that's a trick how these people they can catch. If a swarm is flying, you need only sprinkle water. So if you sprinkle water, then they won't fly. They'll just settle down at one place. Now if you say you want to take the swarm, you would bend the branch with them into a sack and shake it, and they all fall in. Little Fyokla suddenly frowns and rubs her neck vigorously. Her brother looks at her neck and sees a big swelling on it. So just then, I think Fyokla, she was being bitten by some of the bees there. Hey, hey, laughs the cobbler. Do you know where you got from that? So this man, 20, actually he knew from where the swelling has come to. Fyokla actually, she was bitten by some of the bees. There are Spanish flies on some trees in the wood. The rain has trickled them off, and a drop has fallen on your neck. That's what has made the swelling. So, because of the flies, Spanish flies, the sun appears from behind the clouds and floods the wood, the fields, and three friends with its warm light. So, just then what happened? It became sunny, and all the three they were walking through the thicket. The dark, menacing cloud has gone far away and taken the storm with it, and there was no dark cloud, and the sky was clear. The air is warm and fragrant, so when the rain drops, obviously it becomes quite fragrant. You can smell it. There is a scent of bird cherry, meadowsweet, and lilies of the valleys. So when it starts raining, you can even smell the mud, and it is very nice, soothing smell is there, and even the sweet smell of flowers also you can smell. So when these three they are moving in the forest, 20 is telling these kids all the little things, whatever he knows, he is telling them about all these to the kids. Now he is telling that herb is given when your nose bleeds. That means when the kids their nose bleed, when they have nose bleeding, a certain herb is there which is being like the children are being asked to smell it, and when they smell it stops bleeding. Says 20, pointing to a woolly looking flower. So there was a woolly looking flower just like a wool. It does good. So that flower is quite good. They hear a whistle and a rumble, but not such a rumble as the storm clouds carried. So rumbling was there in the cloud, but not very. Now it was quite calm now. A good strain races by before the eyes of 20, and just then what happened? There was a good train. You know what's a good train? The train which carries goods, articles, items, and all, not the passengers. So a good train was there. 20, Danilka and Fiola, the engine panting and puffing. So you can see the engine when it moves, obviously it makes noise, and even it puffs black smoke also. Puffing out black smoke drags more than 20 vans after it. Its power is tremendous. Obviously, it is very powerful. That is why it can pull so many carriages. The children are interested to know how an engine, not alive and without the help of horses, can move and drag such weights, and 20 undertakes to explain it to them. So what happened? These children, they were very inquisitive to know that how come the engine can drag so many carriages, and it is not living also, it doesn't eat any food, but then also how much uh, weight it can pull. So obviously 20 is very interested in all these things, is full of knowledge, and so he tells these children. It's all the steam's doing. So it is the power of the water, steam, children. The steam does the work, you see. It shows under that thing near the wheels and it works. So he's telling those kids. They cross the railway line and going down from the embankment, the sideways, you can find some stones, pebbles and all. So these, and they are arranged in a very proper manner so that the mud, the rails, the lines, it doesn't shift. That is why. Walk towards the river. They walk not with any object, but just at random and talk all the way. Danilka asks questions, 20 answers them. So, when they are walking, Danilka is asking questions and 20 is busy answering them. 20 answers all his questions, and there is no secret in nature which baffles him. He knows everything. Thus, for example, he knows the names of all the wildflowers, animals, and stones. That means he is very knowledgeable. He knows the name of each and every flower, each and every stone, types, even types of muds and all. He knows what herb cure diseases. He has no difficulty in telling the age of a horse or a cow just by looking at the animals. These villagers, they are not educated, but then also they can understand they can tell you the age of the animal just by looking at these animals or looking at their teeth, and they know each and they can identify each and every plant, each and every stone also, what type of stone it is. So they have that different type of knowledge in them. These people have learned not from books but in the fields. Why? Because they are always there in the fields, and that is why they learn from all these fields. In the wood on the river bank, their teachers have been the birds themselves. So the nature has been their teacher, and that is why they learn from nature only. When they sang to them, the sun, when it left a glow of crimson behind it at setting, the very trees and wild herbs. Herbs, these herbs, they are used for ointments also, as medicines also. So all these people, villagers, they cure themselves by these herbs. Then Ilka looks at 20 and greedily drinks in every word. Now here, it's a very important line. What does it mean that greedily drinks in every word? It means that whatever 20 says, he is taking everything into his mind. Means he is remembering all these things, so that when he is there in the field, he also should have the knowledge of all these things. So one, like 20 is passing his knowledge to Dhanilka, and Dhanilka is receiving it and he is keeping it. In spring, before one is weary means tired, of the warmth and the monotonous green of the fields. Monotonous, same thing with the green. Every time when you see green, 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 you get fed up. That is why the climates change, and when the climates change, you have like summer, rainy season, winter, and that is why the things don't get so monotonous. When everything is fresh and full of fragrance, you would not want to hear about the golden may beetles, about the cranes, about the gurgling streams, and the corn blooming. So the things become quite boring when you keep on seeing the same thing. The two of them, the cobbler and the boy, walk about the fields, talk unceasingly, unceasingly, unstoppable. So they were going on talking and talking, but the little girl, Fiokla, and not weary. Not weary means they were not tired. They could wander about the world endlessly, and these two, they can go on, walking on and talking to each other and passing questions and answering. They could go on and on. But what about the little girl? They walk, and in their talk of the beauty of the earth, do not notice the frail little girl tripping after them. This girl, she was very small, and obviously she could not walk for such a long time, so she got tired. Frail means very tender. She is breathless and moves with lagging step. Breathless means she could not breathe. Okay, and she was very tired. Towards midday, all three sit down on the river bank. Dhanilka takes out of his bag a piece of bread soaked and reduced to a mash. So Dhanilka, he must be carrying a piece of bread, and he had kept in his bag, and because of the rain, it got mashed up. And they begin to eat. 20 says a prayer when he has eaten the bread and stretches himself on the sandy bank and falls asleep. So the 20, he says a prayer and then he falls asleep at the banks only. While he is sleeping, the boy gazes at the water, pondering. Pondering means flowing. So he is looking at the water, he is observing the water, flow of the water. He has many different things to think of. Obviously, because the child is very inquisitive, he wants to know each and everything, and that is why he is observing that flowing water. He has just seen the storm, the bees, the ants, the train. Now before his eyes, fishes are whisking about. So he had seen so many things, and now he was looking at the fishes, and he also wants to know many things about the fishes. Now coming on to the last page. Some are 2 inches long and more, others are no bigger than one snail, very small. A viper with its head held high in swimming from one bank to the other. That means the fishes. These fishes, they were swimming here and there in the water, whisking. Only towards the evening our wanderers, these three, Fiokla, Dhanilka and 20, return to the village. So these three, they return to the village. The children go for the night to a deserted barn. Deserted barn means where nobody stays, and it is barn where the weeds are kept and all that. Where the corn of the commune is community, used to be kept. While 20 leaving them goes to a tavern. So 20 goes to a hotel sort of thing, or a very small place where 20 goes, and it is a community space only where he used to stay. So he goes to his own place, whereas the children, they went to the deserted barn. The children lie huddled together on the straw, dozing. You can see it in the picture how these two kids, they were lying on the straw. Straw is the dry grass. The boy does not sleep. He gazes into the darkness. Why he's not sleeping and he's just gazing? Why? Because he's thinking so many things. He just want to know. The inquisitive mind of a child. Actually, when a child is very inquisitive, it doesn't let him sleep. And it seems to him that he is seeing all that he has seen in the day. The storm clouds, the bright sunshine, the birds, the fish, lanky, 20. The number of his impressions, together with exhaustion and hunger, are too much for him. And he was exhausted, he was very tired, and even hungry also. He is as hot as though he were on fire, and tosses from side to side. Tosses means he was moving from one side to another. He longs to tell someone all that is haunting him now in the darkness. So he wants to share each and everything to the other people, whatever is coming to his mind. And agitating his soul means he is restless, agitating. But there is no one to tell. Fiokla is too little and could not understand. And Fiokla is quite small, so even if he shares anything with Fiokla, she will not understand. So that is why he is quite restless. I'll tell 20 tomorrow, thinks the boy. So he is thinking to share with 20 only. The children fall asleep thinking of the cobbler, and in the night 20 comes to them and puts bread under their head. Why bread? Because these two kids, they were hungry, and that is why 20 is quite worried about these kids, because they are orphan, and that is why he comes and puts some bread. You can see on the dry grass how it is kept there. 20 comes to them, okay, and puts bread under their head. And no one sees his love. It is seen only by the moon, which floats in the sky and peeps caressingly through the hole in the wall of the deserted barn. And nobody is there to see these kids. It's only the moon which is moving there Only the moon knows that these two kids, how they are lying, and how 20 is helping these two kids. So it is the end of the story. How do you like the story?